Welcome to Express News. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj and we give you top 100 news of the day. So let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the centenary celebrations of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh as the chief guest on Wednesday at Dr. Ambedkar International Centre in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi released a specially designed commemorative postage stamp and coin highlighting the RSS's contributions to the nation and before addressing the occasion. While addressing the event, PM Modi mentioned that the coin released today has the national emblem and an image of Bharat Mata seated on a lion. He added that this is the first time in the history of independent India that an image of Bharat Mata has been shown on the currency. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that tomorrow is Vijayadashmi, a festival which symbolizes the victory of good over evil, victory of justice over injustice, victory of truth and establishment of RSS on this great day 100 years ago was no coincidence. Further, PM Modi praised the 100-year pursuit of nation building, emphasizing unity and service of the RSS. The event celebrated RSS's role in shaping India's cultural and social fabric. At the 60th UN HRC session, Josh Bowes, an international geopolitical researcher, highlighted concerns over the human rights violations taking place in Pakistan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, while addressing the Defence Accounts Department's 278th annual day in Delhi, urged the department to fund innovative R&D for India's tech-driven defence sector, celebrating 2025 as the year of reforms. GE Aerospace delivered the fourth F-404-AIM-20 fighter jet engine to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited as part of a 2021 order on Tuesday. HAL is now finalizing a major contract with GE to acquire 113 additional F-404-AIM-20 engines in a deal worth over $1 billion, with signing expected in October. Lieutenant General Virendra Vats has assumed charge as the Director General of the National Cadet Corps, succeeding Lieutenant General Gurbir Pal Singh, commissioned into the 19th Kumar Regiment of the Indian Army on December 17, 1988. Lieutenant General Virendra Vats brings him with the 37 years of distinguished service. In a latest on Tamil Nadu's Karur stampede, DMK MLA V. Senthil Balaji expressed shock over the Karur rally stampede that killed at least 40, including children. He urged statewide collaboration to prevent future tragedies amid ongoing probe. 9 migrant workers from Assam died and 1 was critically injured when scaffolding over 20 feet high collapsed during concrete arch construction at the 1,320 megawatt Ennore Special Economic Zone thermal power project near Poneri on Tuesday. PM Narendra Modi expressed grief over the Ennore Special Economic Zone scaffold collapse in Chennai, killing 9 Assam workers. He announced rupees 2 lakh ex gratia for each deceased kin and 50,000 for the injured. In Manipur, intelligence-driven joint operations conducted by the Indian Army and Assam Rifles under Spear Corps in coordination with police led to significant counter-insurgency successes in Tenongpa, Imphal, East and Chandel. In the intelligence-led ops across Manipur's Tenongpal, Imphal, East and Chandel, Indian Army and Assam Rifles arrested 4 cadres, recovering 8 weapons, IEDs, 1.2 lakh meth tablets worth 3.6 crore. Vigilance to sustain peace. In Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri, the PM Gram Sadak Yojana road project has begun. It connects Mangota to Darhal in the Pir Panjal Mountains, linking 2 subdivisions for the first time since independence, enhancing connectivity. India's FTA with EFTA has come into effect today. The agreement promises $100 billion in investments and 1 million jobs over 15 years. Signed in 2024, it enhances trade and economic ties. The Reserve Bank of India has announced its monetary policy decision today, highlighting India's favorable growth inflation dynamics. The Reserve Bank of India has kept the repo rate unchanged at 5.5% and maintained a neutral monetary policy stance. This is the second consecutive time that the repo rates have been kept unchanged. RBI Governor noted that inflation conditions have remained mild during 2025-26 so far and said that the inflation projection has been revised to 2.6% from earlier projected inflation rate of 3.1% in August. RBI Governor highlighted that India's GDP is now projected to grow at 6.8%, up from earlier forecast of 6.5%, reflecting stronger economic momentum supported by robust domestic demand and favorable policy measures. In business, the equity benchmark indices rebounded about 1% on Wednesday. Sensex settled 715.7 points at 80,983.31. At close, the broader Nifty climbed 24,836.3, up 225.2 points. The Indian rupee ended higher by 9 paise at 88.69 per US dollar on Wednesday versus previous close of 88.78. Spot gold traded at 3,862.7 US dollar per ounce, up 0.77% from Tuesday amid US recession fears, boosting safe haven demand. In India, 24-karat gold hit 11,744. In fact, analysts forecast quarter 4 average at 3,675 US dollar, eyeing 4,000 US dollar by mid-2026. Spot silver traded at 47.31 US dollar per ounce, up 0.71. In fact, and WTI crude dipped to $61.91 per barrel, down 0.73%, while Brent edged up to 66.18 US dollar per barrel, up 0.22%. Global inventory builds and OPEC Plus hikes pressure prices. EIA forecasts Brent at 59 US dollar per barrel in quarter 4, 51 US dollar per barrel in 2026. Asia Pacific markets fell sharply on Wednesday, with Nikkei down 1.2%, Hang Seng 1.5% and Shanghai 0.8%. Weak US jobs data sparked recession fears. China's stimulus failed to lift sentiment amid property crisis. Investors eye Fed rate cut odds. European markets stumbled on Wednesday, with the FTSE down 1.1%, DAX 1.3% and CAC 1%. US jobs miss fueled global sell-off. ECB rate cuts bets rose amid China slowdown. Investors brace for volatile week. The Euro Stoxx 50 surged past its March 2025 record, closing high of around 5,456 points, reaching 5,515 on September 30th amid robust Eurozone earnings and ECB rate cut hopes. In an update, UK's final September 2025 manufacturing PMI is at 46.2, down from August's 47, signaling contraction at the fastest pace in 5 months. Japan's tariff envoy said Wednesday there were no discrepancies with the United States on the $550 billion of mooted investments by Tokyo as part of their recent trade agreement. As per the White House, under the terms of US-Japan deal lowering threatened tariffs, Tokyo will invest the money in the United States. South Korea is also on the hook for $350 billion. US President Donald Trump has said both countries will provide this signing bonus upfront. However, the US-Japan Memorandum of Understanding did not mention immediate payments, saying that would be made from time to time. The MOU between US and Japan has also stipulated that Tokyo would provide the necessary funding within 45 days of Washington selecting an investment area or face higher tariffs. US Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau stressed the critical role of skilled workers of foreign companies investing in the US at the first working group meeting on new visas for South Korean companies. Meanwhile, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung said on Wednesday the country's defense budget for next year would rise by 8.2% to $47.1 billion. He also added that peace would only be possible on a strong foundation of security. The US government shut down at midnight after Senate Democrats blocked a funding bill over expiring Obamacare subsidies and Medicaid cuts up to 750,000 workers furloughed unpaid. Trump vows irreversible reforms targeting democratic priorities, echoing his 2018 standoff. US President Donald Trump also signed an executive order to promote the use of artificial intelligence in child cancer research. The US Health Department announced a doubling of funding for its childhood cancer data initiative. European Union leaders will discuss proposals for a drone wall to protect the continent at a summit on Wednesday in Copenhagen. The summit will also be the first opportunity for leaders of the 27 countries to debate a proposal to use Russian assets frozen in Europe to fund a loan of 140 billion euros to Ukraine. Ahead of the summit in Copenhagen, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Britain, Finland and Ukraine have committed troops and anti-drone systems to help Denmark protect the leaders. Romania hopes to quickly set up production on its territory of defensive drones with Ukraine for domestic use as well as by European Union and NATO allies. Romania Foreign Minister Oana Tsoio said in an interview that talks with Ukraine began before a spate of airspace incursions that the region has blamed on Russia in recent weeks. In a latest from the Israel-Gaza conflict, the Israeli military says it will close the final route linking southern Gaza to the north on Wednesday, isolating Gaza City amid a fierce offensive. Hundreds of thousands flee south, UN warns of famine as aid stalls, with 33 Palestinians killed in recent strikes. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine has now been without off-site power for 6 days. With the situation getting critical, International Atomic Energy Agency chief says the agency is engaging with both sides of the military conflict to restore off-site power as soon as possible. The IAEA said the external power line supplying the plant came down last week for the 10th time in Russia-Ukraine conflict, and emergency diesel generators were brought into service. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed alarm over the situation, saying that the Russian shelling is preventing restoration of the power line. Meanwhile, an overnight Russian strike once again battered Kharkiv in Ukraine. A guided aerial bomb injured 6 people and triggered multiple fires across the city, including at a market and residential blocks. 5 of the injured are being treated at hospital. Rescue efforts stretched into third day on Wednesday at the site of a collapsed Islamic boarding school in Indonesia. Authorities say so far 91 people are missing. The incident took place on Monday when a school building collapsed while pupils held late afternoon prayers in a mosque. Addressing nation on 65th Independence Day of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu declared on Wednesday that the worst is over following a series of painful economic reforms that have left millions struggling with rising costs and deepening poverty. And time for a short break. Keep watching DD India.
This week on Defence Dynamics, from the rails of India's heartland, Agni Prime raises, carrying a nuclear edge on the move. As the nation strengthens its shield with Anant Shastra QR SAM regiments, a new layer of defence takes shape. With the Kaveri D1 engine igniting India's aerospace dreams, the future of power is truly homegrown. This Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's resume. A powerful earthquake of magnitude 6.9 struck Cebu Island in the Philippines on Wednesday, leaving at least 69 dead and over 150 injured. The tremor in Philippines caused widespread destruction, collapsing buildings and triggering power outages across the region. Severe flooding in Ukraine's Odessa killed 9, including a child, after 2 months' worth of rain fell in just 7 hours. Rescuers toiled overnight in flood-hit Odessa, evacuating 362 people, clearing vehicles and draining water from buildings. Emergency teams continue relief operations amid extensive damage. Cleanup and drainage efforts are underway in a Mexico City suburb following one of the region's heaviest rainfalls in decades. Heavy rains on Saturday caused widespread damage in Mexico, forcing evacuations and flooding homes with up to 1.1 meters of water. Streets in Ibiza were severely flooded after Storm Gabrielle swept across the Mediterranean island, unleashing torrential rains that submerged vehicles and disrupted transport. The Spanish Weather Agency issued a red alert for Ibiza and Formentera, reporting 118 millimeter of rainfall within 12 hours. Typhoon Boaloi, Vietnam's most destructive storm of the year that struck the country on Monday, triggered widespread floods, killing at least 26 people and leaving 22 missing. The India Meteorological Department has issued yellow alerts for multiple regions, warning of continued heavy rainfall over the coming days. Vietnamese coffee exports hit record $6.42 billion, aiming for $8 billion by the year end, driven by supply gaps, rising prices and industry challenges. Investor Arno Rubik and chess grandmaster Judith Polgar launched the first Rubik chess tournament in Budapest, combining blitz chess with Rubik's Cube solving. South Korea's Everland Amusement Park opened a theme zone featuring characters from Netflix's animated film K-pop Demon Hunters on Tuesday. Bear 32 Chunk was crowned Alaska's fattest bear in Katmai National Park's Fat Bear Week, winning 96,350 votes despite injuries, including a broken jaw. Australia's south coast has seen about 500 tons of dead marine wildlife washed ashore since March due to algae blooms. Despite the tragedy, this marine waste is helping to enrich the land and support new growth. 5 ancient human footprints about 7,000 years old were discovered in Turkey's Ameplayan Reyhanli district. Experts date them to around 5,200 BCE during the early Chalcolithic age. The Moroccan city of Moudiq recently hosted a national fishing competition with over 70 participants from various regions. The event aims to promote sustainable tourism, develop marine sports and preserve marine resources through environmental activities. El Cucuy National Park in Boyaca, Colombia experienced one of the most surprising snowfalls in recent years, despite ongoing glacier and ice melt in the region caused by climate change. The women-only Penteos Penitentiary Center in Santa Ana, El Salvador marked Independence Day with cultural events as part of President Bukele's Zero Leisure Prison Rehabilitation Program. Ida Vasuren, a national champion herdswoman from Govisumbo province, Mongolia, lovingly raises an orphaned foal, training it to drink milk from a bucket. Her devotion has touched many hearts. Luxembourg's Grand Duke Henry will sign his act of abdication on Friday, ending his 25-year reign. His son, Crown Prince Guillaume, will succeed him. Royals and heads of state will attend the ceremony. Visitors are flocking to Takashima City of Western Japan as chestnut harvesting season begins. The 55-hectare Makino Pickland Park is home to around 18,000 chestnut trees across 10 varieties. Devotees worship Ma Siddhidatri, the 9th form of goddess Durga, on occasion of Mahanavami, the 9th day of Hindu festival of Navratri. Andhra Pradesh witnessed a grand display of devotion as goddess Kanyaka Parameshwari was adorned with 5 crore rupees in currency notes, 7 kilograms of gold and 12 kilograms of silver. Thiruvananthapuram's Shakti Kripa showcases 7,400 Golu dolls for Navratri. Collector Kutur Veerasai has spent a decade curating antique and themed pieces. Paris Fashion Week, which began on Monday, runs until October 7, featuring top brands like Saint Laurent and Louis Vuitton, with much anticipated debuts from Chanel, Balenciaga and Loewe. On Tuesday, British designer Stella McCartney, known for sustainable fashion, unveiled her eco-friendly summer collection featuring feathery cocktail dresses. The show opened with Helen Mirren reading The Beatles Come Together. Grammy-winning DJ Calvin Harris will make his India debut with a two-city tour in Mumbai and Bengaluru on November 8 to 9, 2025. Grammy-winning artist John Mayer will make his India debut with a live show in Mumbai on January 22, 2026 at Mahalakshmi Racecourse. The concert promises his signature blend of beloved hits and spontaneous musicianship. American director Ryan Murphy's Monster series returns with its third installment, The Ed Gein Story, releasing October 3rd. Starring Charlie Hunnam, it explores the infamous killer's isolated life and twisted bond with his mother. The teaser of Tere Ishq Mein, starring Kriti Sanon and Dhanush, directed by Anand L. Rai, was released on Wednesday. The film, featuring music by A.R. Rahman, explores a passionate, painful love and releases on November 28 worldwide. Actor Anshuman Jha upcoming maiden directorial Lord Curzon Ki Haveli reimagines Beethoven's classics in a black comedy thriller starring Rasika Dugal and Arjun Mathur. Shot in the UK, the film releases on October 10. The trailer for Single Salma, starring Huma Qureshi, is out. The comedy drama follows Salma's clash between an arranged marriage and unexpected love in London. It releases on October 31st, 2025. Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan will co-host the 70th Filmfare Awards 2025 in Ahmedabad alongside Manish Paul and Karan Johar. The event will take place on October 11 at Eka Arena, Kankaria Lake. On S.D. Burman's 119th birth anniversary on Wednesday, Jackie Shroff paid tribute by sharing a monochrome photo of the legendary composer on his social media story. India will be favourites against a struggling and under-strength West Indies when the two teams face off in the first test in Ahmedabad on Thursday. India Test captain Shubman Gill indicated that the team would look to play on tracks that offer assistance to both batters and bowlers. India under-19 batter Vaibhav Suryavanshi hammered a record 78-ball century on the second day of the opening test against Australia in Brisbane on Wednesday. India kicked off their Women's World Cup campaign in an emphatic fashion. They defeated Sri Lanka by 59 runs in Guwahati. India-Sri Lanka match of the Women's ODI World Cup saw the record turnout with nearly 23,000 fans watching the match in Guwahati. Indian Grandmaster R. Pragnananda lost to France's Grandmaster Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in their Grand Chess Tour final semi-final in the tie in Brazil. India star para-javelin thrower Sumit Antal clinched the gold medal in the men's F64 javelin throw at the World Para-Athletics Championships. Yannick Sinner won the 21st title of his career by thrashing American teenager Lerner Tien 6-2, 6-2 in the China Open final. Sinner is third man to win multiple China Open titles after Djokovic with 6 titles and Nadal with 2. World number 1 Carlos Alcaraz clinched the Japan Open by wearing down Taylor Fritz 6-4, 6-4 in the final. 39-year-old Frenchman Glenn Monfils has announced that he will retire at the end of the 2026 season. A Victor Osimhen penalty gave Galatasaray 1-0 victory over Liverpool in the Champions League. Chelsea are back to winning ways with 1-0 success against Benfica as Jose Mourinho's returned to face the club he coached earlier. Kylian Mbappe scored a hat-trick as Real Madrid cruised to a 5-0 victory over Champions League debutants Khairat Almaty. Manchester City midfielder Rodri is not ready to play 3 matches a week as he continues to work his way back to full fitness. That's it in this edition of Express News. News and updates will continue. You stay tuned to DD India.